I'm going to lump together is both transparency and then just at a high level data security and privacy because it's extremely important. So it goes back to our roots, right? We built Reviewer for two reasons. One, we felt programs were very unfair, very inefficient, but also we wanted to offer insights into why we chose individuals the way we did in hopes that those that didn't get selected have some type of self-development. So a common thing that we're seeing nowadays is full transparency. And this is a super polarizing conversation. But we actually see clients of ours take the score sheets and then allow applicants to come back into Reviewer and physically view how they were selected. I'm talking the entire score sheet on a per question basis, score, comment. They can physically see how they were evaluated. That's one extreme. The other kind of extreme to that is they might just say, hey, here's general comments that the judges left for you. You anonymize it, but they come into the system and they can see those comments. Another reason why I like this is it goes back to compliance. It's called a proof of process. So we've also done another webinar on this, but a proof of process, excuse me, is typically broken into four pieces. It's a public statement that you have before anybody even begins this process. And it says, look, if you're applying to our scholarship, this is the experience that you're going to have. These are the dates and deadlines. This is the type of submission form that you're going to fill out. Here's your score sheet. If you're selected, here's what we request from you next. And the idea is to set the stage so people come in very prepared, but also we have organizations that we work with that would call us up and say, hey, I have a parent on the phone who doesn't agree with the results. They know that their daughter didn't get a scholarship, but they know somebody else did, and they just don't agree. So the idea behind having a proof of process, and this is such a terribly thing to even have to talk about, is that we can kind of go back and say, look, here's the process we said your daughter was going to go through. Here's proof that we followed the process. It is what it is. It helps build community trust before they even begin your forms, that there's some type of infrastructure in place. It's not just going to be like, we're drawing names out of a hat or we're going to randomly pick our favorites, right? So again, we want to be able to show transparency, but also build up the applicants themselves for self-development. So if you're going to go this route, you have to make it easy. I can assure you that you and your team don't want to have to download and export every single piece of judge feedback and scorecard, compile it, and then mail it or email it out individually to your applicants. In fact, we can't email it out because that's very sensitive data that we don't want transmitted through email communication. So what do? It goes back to your profile concept. So applicants rejoin their profile. You will see that off to the right, I've got some communication tools. So in Reviewer, you can one-to-one communicate with your applicants. The general goal here is that you can log obviously private information such as here's the results, and then it sends the applicant a notification, but it doesn't actually have the contents of it. So when they click on a link, it brings them right back into their profile. That way they can kind of see the secure messaging in one spot. But the general goal here is that they will then jump up to the evaluation section up top, and it shows them, again, this will depend on what you want to share, but it's going to show them a list of all the evaluations that were submitted. So in this example, we've got 6 different scores. We made it anonymous, right? So reviewer 2, 3, 4, 5. The applicant that can then click into it. Maybe you want to just show reviewer 4, but no score. That's also fine. And then it pulls the actual scorecard that was filled out or the components of it. Again, many of our clients do question-based prompts, and so it might be like question, the answer, comments, or overarching comments. But the goal is that the applicants can, in one click, come into the system and then view whatever it is that you want them to see. So now I'm kind of going a bit long here. So I'm just going to kind of end here with the last piece. We'll just kind of leave it on the screen for you to look at. It's data security and privacy. It's not a very sexy conversation. It's one that obviously many operation team members aren't even involved with. It's their IT teams. Just note that these are life-changing opportunities for your applicants, right? It's a funding opportunity for a reason. They have a need. They have to be treated as such. For some of the credit unions that we work with, as a really good example, we've actually found out that it's a deterrent from applicants. If they're not aware of what the data security privacy looks like, they won't apply because they don't feel comfortable giving you their very sensitive information. So we have to make them feel confident. We also want to just say things to make them feel confident. We have to be able to back it up, right? And so you and your team shouldn't get bogged down in the very ever-changing environment of compliance. things like GDPR, FERPA, California. I mean, there's an acronym for everything. You can't be up to date with it, but my team can, right? We have dedicated staff members who are in charge of that purpose. We're updating our software to meet the needs of the ever-changing standards. With that said, the thing that you really got to keep a look at, it doesn't matter what tool that you're using, that SOC 2 Type 2 certification is kind of what the word is that you're looking for. So it's kind of the industry gold standard for a company that has met the needs of like kind of the highest level of privacy. Again, no matter what tool you look for, if you see that, you're probably good to go.